It was a night nobody expected. After years of avoiding late-night appearances, former President Donald J. Trump was about to walk onto The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. The announcement made just 48 hours prior sent shockwaves through both political and entertainment circles. The internet split in two. Again, some called it a return to sanity. Others screamed, platforming fascism. Jimmy Fallon, who once tousled Trump's hair in a pre-2016 interview that nearly cost him his career, now stood backstage, palms sweating. This wasn't going to be a nostalgic trip. This was going to be a war of tone, and the world was watching. The studio lights dimmed. The band paused. The voiceover rang out. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. The crowd erupted. But it wasn't just cheers. There were gasps, a few jeers. The energy in the room turned electric. Trump emerged with his signature confidence. Navy suit, red tie, long overcoat, and that unmistakable walk. He waved, pointed at a few people in the crowd, smiled big and wide, then turned toward Fallon with the poise of a man who knew the room was already his. Jimmy smiled nervously. "Mr. President, welcome back to the show." Trump leaned into the mic. "Thank you, Jimmy. You've aged a bit. But don't worry, I've aged backwards." Laughter broke the tension, but only for a moment. They sat. Fallon tried to keep it light. "So, how's post-presidency life treating you?" Trump nodded. "Honestly, Jimmy, it's been beautiful. I play golf, I win at golf, and I watch the country go to hell. It's like early retirement in the middle of a disaster movie." The audience laughed again, hesitantly. Fallon tried to pivot. "You've been active, Truth Social, rallies, endorsements. Most ex-presidents take it easy." Trump raised a hand. "Well, Jimmy, I'm not like most ex-presidents. They go home. I go viral." The line hit. Fallon smiled. "Fair, but a lot of people say you've, well, never really left, especially now with 2024 on the horizon." Trump raised an eyebrow. "Let me ask you, Jimmy, do you think Joe Biden's doing a great job?" Fallon froze. Laughter from the crowd. He tried to deflect. "I asked the questions, remember?" Trump smirked. "That's what I thought." The audience roared. From that point, the tone shifted. What started as playful suddenly turned pointed. Trump wasn't here for a roast. He was here for a reckoning. And Fallon, whether he liked it or not, was sitting across from a media-savvy machine with decades of live TV experience. Jimmy tried to press on. "So let's talk 2024. Are you running?" Trump didn't hesitate. "Well, Jimmy, when you see record inflation and open borders, a weak military, and comedians who think they're journalists, someone has to fix things. So yeah, I'm considering it." The crowd reacted. Some cheered, some booed. All eyes were locked. Fallon tried to lighten the mood. "You sure you're not just here to sell a new book?" Trump leaned back and smiled. "No book tonight, just the truth." Fallon laughed nervously. "The truth? From a guy who used to host The Apprentice?" Trump snapped back. "Yeah, and I fired people who deserved it. Maybe we should do the same in Washington." The crowd exploded again, and just like that, Trump had the room and the narrative in the palm of his hand. The commercial break ended, but the tension didn't. Jimmy Fallon sat up straighter, cue cards in hand, rehearsed lines abandoned. He had a decision to make: dodge and entertain, or confront and risk. He chose the latter. The camera panned in, lights blazed. The audience leaned forward. Fallon began lightly. "Okay, Mr. President, or should I say Mr. Comeback, let's address the elephant in the room." Actually, make that the whole zoo." Trump smirked. "That's good. I should hire you for one of my rallies." Fallon smiled, but his tone sharpened. "Seriously, though, January 6th, the indictments, the trials, critics say you've crossed lines no other president has crossed. How do you justify all of it?" The room went silent. Trump didn't flinch. He clasped his hands, leaned in, and spoke with chilling calm. "Jimmy, you don't get indicted 5 times unless you're doing something that scares powerful people. That's not a criminal record. That's a resume of resistance." The crowd erupted. Some cheered, others gasped. Fallon tried again, firmer this time. "You inspired a mob to attack the Capitol." Trump's eyes narrowed just slightly. "You mean the unarmed insurrection?" The one where the only person shot was one of ours? They walked through velvet ropes, Jimmy, like tourists. Angry tourists, but not terrorists. You know it. I know it. The American people definitely know it. Fallon leaned back, trying to recover. Okay, but, Trump cut in, sharper now. And let's not pretend Democrats don't riot. I watched cities burn while CNN called it mostly peaceful. Double standards are a disease, Jimmy. I'm just the only one immune. The audience exploded again, this time louder, more divided. Applause, boos, cheers, murmurs. The studio had become a courtroom, a stadium, a war zone of opinion. Fallon pushed harder. Let's talk about minorities, immigration, LGBTQ rights. People say your policies hurt vulnerable communities. Trump tilted his head. I gave more funding to HBCUs than any president. I lowered black unemployment to record levels. I made peace deals in the Middle East, and I didn't start a single war. But sure, let's talk about tweets. Fallon tried to smile, but it was forced. It's not just tweets, it's the tone, the division. Trump's voice dropped an octave. Jimmy, this country was divided before me. The difference is, I didn't pretend it wasn't. I didn't smile, make jokes, and avoid hard truths behind a desk. I said it like it is. That line hit, like a punch with a velvet glove. Fallon looked away for a second, visibly shaken. He glanced at the audience, split down the middle, then turned back. You really believe you're still the best option for America? Trump didn't pause. I don't believe it, I know it, because no one else has the guts to say what I say, fight like I fight, and take the punches I've taken. You think I do this for fun? He gestured around the studio. This used to be enough for me. Fame, fortune, TV shows. But now I see what they're doing to our country, and I couldn't just sit on the sidelines. That's the difference. Fallon went quiet. The audience too. Then Jimmy offered one last challenge. You realize there are people out there, millions, who genuinely fear another Trump presidency? Trump looked dead into the camera. They should fear 4 more years of what we have now. I'm not the threat. I'm the mirror. If they don't like what they see, they should ask why. Silence. Then thunderous applause. Even the skeptics in the room couldn't help but react. Trump hadn't just held his own, he dominated. Fallon leaned back, visibly overwhelmed but still respectful. Well, I think we all just experienced something. Trump grinning. You're welcome. The moment the show ended, the real show began. NBC executives paced nervously backstage. The control room buzzed like a hornet's nest. Jimmy Fallon, normally the smiling king of late-night levity, sat quietly in his dressing room, the weight of what had just happened pressing down on him like gravity. He knew the interview had gone viral, before the credits even finished rolling. But he wasn't ready for what came next. Progressive commentators declared it a media failure. This wasn't an interview. It was an endorsement dressed as entertainment, tweeted Rachel Maddow. Meanwhile, conservative voices saw it as a turning point. Trump walked into enemy territory and walked out owning the room, said Tucker Carlson on his podcast the next morning. Late-night hosts like Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers reacted within 24 hours. Colbert opened his show with a sarcastic monologue. Last night, Jimmy Fallon got bulldozed by Donald Trump and somehow thanked him for it. But something strange happened. Fallon's ratings spiked. The full episode broke records on Peacock. The YouTube upload surpassed 18 million views within 48 hours. Fallon's Instagram comments were flooded. Some hateful, some amazed, many simply saying, I couldn't look away. On Truth Social, Trump posted at 3:21 a.m. Jimmy Fallon is still a nice guy. Soft, but nice. Maybe I'll do Seth Meyers next, if he grows a spine. Hashtag great ratings. That post alone got over 100,000 shares. He followed it up with a short video clip of himself on Fallon's stage, overlaid with the caption, When you hijack the show with truth. His base went wild. 2 nights later, Jimmy opened The Tonight Show not with a joke, but with a somber address. The other night, we had Donald Trump on the show, and wow, a lot of people are mad. A lot of people are thrilled. And me, I'm still trying to figure out what just happened. He chuckled nervously, then added, I invited a former president, thinking we'd talk policies, maybe even roast each other a bit. Instead, I got a political monologue I couldn't stop. I'll be honest, I've never felt so out of control on my own stage. The audience applauded. Some stood. For once, Fallon looked raw, honest, human. Maybe that's the point, he concluded. Maybe America's just ready to hear people unfiltered, even when it's messy, even when it's Trump. The Trump-Fallon interview went down in late-night history. Some saw it as a media failure. Others saw it as a glimpse into the future of unfiltered dialogue. No handlers, no scripts, just fire. Trump, ever the showman, used the moment as fuel. He quoted himself from the interview in rally speeches, campaign videos, even T-shirts. "I'm not the threat, I'm the mirror." That line stuck. It became a meme, a slogan, a war cry. And Jimmy Fallon? He didn't collapse. He didn't quit. Instead, he leaned in. He started bringing on guests he once avoided, politicians, activists, outsiders. He wasn't just America's goofball anymore. He was a man who had looked into the storm and come out the other side changed. And all of it began on one unforgettable night when Donald Trump walked onto a talk show set and rewrote the script.